Okay, I want to start my video with a few things that I picked up for my pantry. So I have a 3-month working pantry. I'm trying to build that up so that I have the amount of cans or the amount of products that I want in each category. Like, for instance, I want 6 cans of the chicken with rice soup. I want at least 6 cans of the soup that my husband likes. I want at least 8 cans of Bush's baked beans. I want at least 2 months for sure, at least 2.5 months in the pantry of spaghetti pasta noodles. I have at least a month and a half out here in the kitchen. I want at least 2.5 months worth of pasta sauce. I have at least 2 weeks of pasta sauce out here on the kitchen shelf. And then this summer I will make pasta sauce again. So, and then so on and so forth. Baking items, my baking will come pretty much to an end here soon. So I have just enough flour if I want to make a loaf of bread in that this spring. Or if I want to make a couple of batches of cookies, I have just enough brown sugar in that for that, and vanilla, and I'm pretty much out of the powdered sugar. I wouldn't buy that again until Christmas. As far as granulated sugar, I would be stocking up on that soon to feed the hummingbirds. So I probably have enough baking ingredients to do some just quick baking in that in the spring. I won't be doing any in the summer, and then I'll start again in the fall. Just looking at different canned products or box products like rice. I just recently bought a new rice cooker, so I'd want to make sure that I have a 3-pound or a 5-pound bag of rice. I wouldn't want to store too much back there because with summer temperatures coming, and I don't have room to store it in my freezer. So there's just a few conditions in place. I live in an apartment. It's just myself and my husband. I have 3 good-sized shelves to have a 3-month pantry. We don't feed other people. We don't have children or grandchildren. We do have maybe 2 or 3 times a year friends in for a meal. Usually they bring half the meal. I cook the other half and have dessert. So it's just my husband and myself depending on it. So I wanted to get a start on a few items right away here in March. I'm going to be doing a few more before the end of March, and then I'm going to start a new YouTube or a new video series about purchases for my pantry. I'm going to try to do one of those or 2 of those a month, just showing items that I purchased for my pantry, how much of those items I purchased, and what their price is and what I'm going to use them for. So I picked up some grape jelly. We feed that to the finches when they come back in this area, the house finches and the goldfinches. They like grape jelly. Generally they come back in the early part of April, and then we usually give them jelly till about July. By that time they've had 2 or 3 sets of hatchlings, and they're pretty well set. So there's enough things out in nature that they can rely on. One of our protein sources, besides canned chicken and canned tuna, is Alaskan pink salmon. I picked up 2 packages of that this week, so that was $1.68 per package, which is high, but it's one of the few protein sources that we have besides the meat that we buy and put in the freezer. So this was $2.47. I wanted to get at least 6 jars of that before it starts going up after the bird. Everyone in this area feeds this to the birds, and it starts going up. The highest that we have seen it is $2.68. So, and this was at the same price that it always is, and I like to have at least 6 packages back there for a 3-month supply. I don't want to have too much. Nothing in my pantry is something that I'm not going to eat. It's not something that's so-so, or I'm not really sure. I'll try to make the best of it, or this may be able to be made from it. We'll look into it and we'll see. It has to be a certainty. I don't want to waste anything. I don't really have, most of my friends eat different than my husband and I do, and I tried taking food before to the food pantry, and they just do not accept donations like that, at least in this area. So what we buy, we have to be able to eat. It has to be something that we like, something we can use. Chicken broth that I found to not have any onion or garlic or celery or anything like that. It's just chicken broth made with real stock, 41% less sodium. If you're familiar with Woodman's in Wisconsin, I picked this up at Woodman's in Wisconsin here where I live, and that was less than $1 a can. I can't remember if it was 98 or 99 cents a can. So I have finally found, after many years, a chicken broth that I can have on hand, and I purchased 6 cans of that. So even though I make my own, sometimes we can use a little bit more, and for that price, and where I don't have to get the pots and the jars out and start boiling chicken carcasses and that, it's worth it. I used to put some, have a Swiffer floor mop where you buy the wet cloths and stuff like that. It's getting too expensive. I would buy 12 cloths, I think, for every 2 or 3 months. So I bought these from Amazon. It was it was 9 something. To get 6 of them, basically you get them wet, you put them on your Swiffer mop or whatever kind of Swiffer-like mop you have. Take them apart. I washed them so that they're... And then you just fit it over your Swiffer mop. So it's wet, you can put whatever you want on as your cleaning agent, and there you go. And after you're done, we just put them in like a mesh bag and wash them up in the laundry. So whenever we're doing a load of laundry. And I don't use anything like Spick and Span or Pine Sol or anything like that. I just use warm or hot soapy water. So it's not going to make anything in our load of laundry smell like a cleaning agent. I picked up some more pineapple chunks, so I have 3 cans of that back there. I probably only go through 1 can of that a month, and that was $1.09. So, and then getting ready for the summer season. This, once we do open this up, will be good for probably 6 weeks in the refrigerator. I'll make macaroni salad, potato salad, tuna salad, all of it by using this. And this was on a rollback for 98 cents. So I think it was usually $2.68 or $2.98. So it was great. It's within date. It doesn't go out of date until September of 2027. So these are the things that I picked up this week. This is going to be a new little series video, probably 5 minutes long, a couple times a month, just showing you what I'm picking up on my pantry. As I've signed on to building a pantry, having a 3-month working pantry that includes canned goods and that, kind of having that food security in the household, trying to catch, these items that we use a lot before prices go up. And we know they always go up no matter what. So trying to just catch them right now before any other situation in the world causes them to go up. And even when they only go up 10 or 15 cents, when you're buying 10 or 20 or 30 of them a month, that's a lot of money we're talking about. So the rest of my video, of course, will be some of the cooking that I did in the last week. I hope that you enjoy that, and recipes will be included in the show's description. Another dish that I'm making is some cabbage soup. This is the first time trying this. I saw this online. I will see if I can find the person to credit it to. Ground beef. I have 1 pound of ground beef. I'm going to put in probably in a 32-ounce beef broth, maybe 20 ounces. We'll see how much it takes. A package of the tricolor coleslaw, and then some petite diced tomatoes, a can of those. And so I'll have all the ingredients and the information in the show's description, but this is another dish that I'm working on that'll last 2 or 3 days. It even works good in the freezer and that for my husband to eat if I'm coming home from work later. I just don't feel like cooking. That'll be, if it's in the freezer, it'll be taken out for us to eat that evening. Otherwise, I will cook it, the day before or whatever, and my husband can warm it up when he gets home from work. I had 5 eggs that I needed to use up. I have another 18 count in there. So the best way for me to use it up when, we're kind of not having, right now we're trying soups and stews and stuff like that. I just decided to try it at this time of the year. I can have the heat. It gets pretty bad during the wintertime when the heat's on and you've got the oven on and you've got the stove on, and I just have like a meltdown. So right now is a great time for me just to try some of these things that we'll inevitably eat next fall. So the cabbage soup we probably will eat from now until midsummer, when the cabbages start coming out, and after or before St. Pat's Day and that, and during it and afterwards, cabbages are at a good price. So that's why I'm trying this, and the next I'm going to go after that butternut squash soup one more time, and then I'm going to be working on like a lentil and multi-vegetable soup. And that, the multi-vegetable soup, can be had this summer when I start buying multiple fresh vegetables. As far as the eggs and that, I had a light supper, so I'm kind of in the mood for a couple of hard-boiled eggs, and then I'll put the other 3 in the refrigerator, and we can eat those up in the next couple of days as a snack. And there it is, a 14.5 ounce can of petite diced tomato and 3/4 of a bag of that tricolored coleslaw, and the whole 32 ounces of beef broth, 1 pound of ground beef. Had some onion, garlic, salt, and pepper. And now we're going to see how that cooks up, what it looks like when it's done. I think this cabbage, tomato, hamburger soup turned out really good. Initially I was skeptical. The reason being is it just looked like a bunch of water, you know, a pot full of water with a bunch of cabbage floating in it. I don't really care for that look. But it is got a rich broth, it looks like, and I will be tasting that soon. And I'm going to put just I always like to put ginger in almost anything that I make, such as a soup or a stew. It's just good for the stomach. When you have a lot of tomatoes and stuff like that. I don't do it in chili, but when you have a lot of tomatoes and that, the acidity, it's just good to have something like ginger in case your stomach gets, you know, some people can't tolerate the acidity of tomatoes, so a little bit of ginger kind of evens it out or balances it out. And of course it's there for in case you get a little tummy ache. Otherwise, if you don't need it, just tastes really good in almost anything. So I'm going to add a little bit to it, but it has a really nice looking rich broth. The smell is changed from the just like cabbage boiling in water to this really rich, you know, the way tomatoes, you know, when they cook down on that, there's no better smell. So the tomatoes have cooked down and they've added to that beef broth, and then the onion and the garlic and the cabbage. Really a beautiful, delicious smell, and I'm sure my husband's going to like this. So I'm going to let it go a little bit longer. It has been simmering now for about an hour and a half. So we're going to go a little bit longer. The cabbage is about 90% of the way cooked through, so it could use a little bit more, and then it'll be done. Okay, and then I have my husband's favorite of all things, meatballs cooking. So I've got enough here for him to have spaghetti and meatballs 4 times. Then usually the following day he leaves a meatball. He usually has 3 meatballs with a meal, but he usually only eats 2 of them, and then we have leftovers the following day for lunch for him. So the sauce and a meatball and the pasta the following day. So we have 4 spaghetti and meatball meals, 4 the following day leftovers, and then 2 meatball sub days. So generally either on a Friday or a Sunday after we've had spaghetti meatballs, he's hungry for a meatball sub, so we use the rest of the pasta sauce up, and he gets a meatball sub either on bread or a hot dog or hamburger bun, whatever we've got around. So that's several meals and leftovers, 3/4 of a pound of ground beef, some breadcrumbs, salt, pepper, onion, garlic salt, ginger, ketchup, barbecue sauce, and a little bit of mustard. Okay, there is what is left of our ratatouille. It was a large saucepan with the eggplant and onion and green onion, carrots, zucchini, no summer squash, kale, and tomato, and eggplant. And what's left of it, it looks like to be some carrot, zucchini, eggplant. I added some spinach to it, and a little bit I'll add some kale to it. I think all the eggplant has been eaten up. I'm going to add some fresh diced tomatoes, and then when it's served I'll put green onion on the top. So the ratatouille, which probably was no more than maybe $5 or $6 in produce, because I halved the eggplant, froze the other half. Only bought 2 zucchini this time. The spinach is left over from salad mix I bought last week, I believe. The carrots we've had around for at least 2 or 3 weeks. The green onion in that I just bought. The yellow onion that was in the first batch I'd had around for at least a month before I cut into it. So just trying to use up some fresh ingredients in the refrigerator because we like fresh produce and we like to make dishes out of it right away. A few things in the freezer. I've gone through the ground beef now, so no ground beef left. Gone through the chicken. I think I mentioned it earlier, so no chicken left, but our shopping trip is coming in the next 7 days. So I've got appointments for my dentist, so soon I will have some new teeth. If you didn't catch the story before, I've had dentures for most of my life, and I broke my top plate. So I'm going to get all new teeth. We're working on that right now, and we have an appointment here in the next few days. So then I will be back to making intros I'm trying to style my videos a little bit different in this interim and that, to change them a little bit, and I hope you enjoy my videos. So this is cooking for two, using up ingredients, getting through ingredients or meat that's in the freezer. I think the chicken had been in there since November, and the ground beef had been in there since September. So we're looking for some, getting some fresh poultry and fresh ground beef here in the next few days, and then I will have a menu plan ready for spring for that. So using up what we've got, making meals for two. And soup is one of the things that I'm meal prepping for my husband to eat this week. I'm not going to be home till late on Monday and Tuesday night. So, had some spinach to use up, the last of my chicken broth, so I'm going to have to make some more of that. Just some baby carrots. I bought some for another recipe, mainly for convenience, I guess. So, instead of having to peel and slice and all that, so I just put like a quarter of a bag of these baby carrots. He wanted them left at this size, not cut in half. And some egg noodles, and the last package of leftover chicken from a roasted chicken that I did 2 weeks ago. And some thyme, and some rosemary, salt and pepper, garlic, onion. I think that's it. And of course, like I said, the chicken broth. Oh, and a small can of peas. So he's getting the spinach and the carrots and the peas for vegetables, and then the broth and the chicken, and then herbs were thyme, rosemary, garlic, and onion. So that's about, he's going to get 3 good-sized bowls of soup out of that. It's not as, probably, I can't really get a good of what it is, but it was, I had 2.5 cups of broth left, which was concentrated, and I put 3 cups of water in. But then, of course, the noodles are going to absorb some, so we'll see. But then I'm going to try to make some homemade rolls. I've got Brussels sprouts that I'm cooking up here for a meal on Wednesday. I'm also going to do up some ratatouille, so I've got zucchini and onion and carrot and tomato and eggplant to get that cooked up yet. And I think that is it as far as for prep right now. I still have his lunch and his breakfast to take care of, and then I gather before I go to bed. I make sure that I've got the stuff ready to feed the birds in the morning. Yeah, so it's going to be a late night. I probably won't get to bed till 12, and I'm not due in to work until 10 a.m. So I'll have at least 6-7 hours of sleep. I'll get up, feed Kitty, get him all set up for the day, and then my husband will come home at noon and take a check on him, and then he'll be home at shortly after 5, and then I should be home by 7. So yeah, just a little supper prep, dinner prep on Sunday night. Okay, and so tonight we are having a loaded salad. So I've rinsed off, I'm using this new bamboo strainer, so I've got my tomatoes, my cucumber, some spinach, and some lettuce. I also washed up my husband's cabbage for his coleslaw this week, and then we've got some apples. So with a loaded salad and that, I really just put everything that I want to eat in it. I don't go overboard too much with fiber, but I've gone so far as to have apple slices in it, grapes in it, peach slices in it, pear slices in it, all of it. I don't want to go too far in fiber because I have issues with an abundance of fiber, and it just causes a stomach ache and that. But yeah, loaded salad, everything you want. 2 or 3 types of cheeses. In this case tonight we are having some bacon, so we'll crumble some fresh bacon on top, and we'll also have part of these. He'll have half and I'll have half of these eggs, and he's got sliced beets, and I've also got an avocado that I need to use up. So I will give a picture of it when it's ready. So I picked up some acorn squash at the grocery store, so I'm baking that tonight, and that'll be for tomorrow's meal. And then thawing and rising, and then hopefully baking and it turning out some Rhodes cinnamon rolls.